listening to the Lovish Podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Sita Hood, vision architect and licensed therapist. Each week, I'm going to help you to develop the belief and strategy necessary to make an immediate impact on the world by deep diving into topics like mental wellness, faith, relationships, and you guessed it, love. I should mention before we hop into the show, this is not a substitute for a relationship with a licensed therapist. You ready? Let's get it. Hello. Welcome back for another episode of the Lovish Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Sita Hood, vision architect and licensed therapist. If you are listening to this on your favorite listening platform, I want to let you know it is another video podcast. So head on over to YouTube if you would like to see the shade, see my face, see all of this tea and all of this emotion that I am giving you. Come on over to the YouTube channel. While you're here, go ahead and hit subscribe. Go ahead and comment and tell me what it is that you're loving. Talk back to me. Share the episode with your friends and your family. All right, let's get into today's episode. Today's episode was inspired by a listener, but also an email subscriber. So shout out to you. Don't even know who you are because I have this form that I'm actually going to leave linked below. I have this form that I send out to my email subscribers called Ask Dr. Sita, and they can submit a question to me anonymously and I will answer it. So here we are answering this listener's question. So the listener says, how to recover from a full life reset, people, places, and things, and find that confidence and motivation again. I'm not who I used to be, but I'm not fully developed into the person that I am becoming, and I feel stuck. Okay, I was born in the late 80s. And I listen to a lot of 90s music. And I'm not going to lie, this question reminds me of like Britney Spears, Not Yet a Woman, Not a Girl. I don't even know that song fully, but I know that's by her though. Anyway, I understand you. And the first thing that I want to say to you is welcome to the space. Welcome to the space where you get to be authentically you. Understand that even though we need to do full life resets, that doesn't mean it's going to feel good. And so I'm so proud of you for doing what was necessary to get you to where you are. That's the first thing that I want to say to you. Sometimes it be the life reset itself that takes us out. And if that happens, the first thing I want you to do is to acknowledge that you're in the healing process. I want you to think about when spring comes, when fall happens, when winter happens. All of that is a process. And the same thing is happening when you do a full reset. Something has to fall down, something has to die, and not just die for a little bit, right? Like the temperatures have to reach a certain degree in order for it to fully die. In order for a thing to take root and blossom into whatever it's meant to be for the following season, first there has to be a fall and a death. So understand that even though some part of you might be grieving parts of your past, even if you know that like, yeah, this was really good for me to do, it was necessary, you still have to heal. You still have to leave room to heal, because even if you know that you should leave a relationship, even if you know that you should quit a job, it still sucks. You might not have like nostalgic moments in the moment, like when you're going through the process and it's happening, but they will come up. There are certain environments that I don't necessarily miss the environment, because no. Do not want to go back. Okay, let's make that clear. But I miss the memories I created there. I miss what I learned there. I miss who I became there. I miss how empowered I felt there. And so when you are in a new space, you have to acknowledge that there might still be some healing that you have to do from detaching from the old space. When a baby's born, the umbilical cord has to get cut, and that thing has to heal. You have to sever that tie and it has to heal. So remember that. Acknowledge that you're still in the healing process. You just did something really amazing, really brave, really exciting, and maybe not yet. You're not at the point of confidence, but it doesn't mean that confidence is not coming. The second thing I want you to do is envision a new reality for yourself, a new normal. Okay, so you're in this new territory, you're by yourself, or maybe you just made some new friends, or you're not really sure how to make friends, or you too doggone exhausted to make friends. Acknowledge that that's where you're at right now, but also brainstorm what kinds of people, places, things would I like to invite into this new season of my life? Asking God, God, who would you have in my life at this time? Where do I find these people? Where is my tribe? Who can understand me? Who can help build me up as I am recovering from this life reset? Obviously, there's a lot more context that can come with this question, right? So there's a lot of different directions because I'm not sure what prompted the life reset for you. But I'm going to go ahead and assume that it's just because it was meant to happen and you're inching closer towards your purpose, towards a new expression of your purpose. And so you get to reimagine what that looks like. There are a lot of different ways to use paper and to use trees, right? You can use it to create a book. You can use it for just regular scrap paper. You can use it as colored paper. You can use it for sticky notes. You can use paper for postcards. There's a lot of different ways, a lot of different uses for paper. And why am I saying that? Because your purpose does not just have one expression. There's not just one way to use paper. There's not just one way to use your purpose, to walk in your purpose. This might be the most common way that we understand it, right? So maybe this piece of paper, this is how you've expressed purpose for your whole life up until this point. But maybe it's time for you to branch off and become something new. Maybe you need thicker skin that needs to be developed. Maybe you need to get a little bit more creative about how you show up. Maybe there's a side of you that hasn't even been tapped into yet, right? Maybe there's part of you that you haven't even explored yet. And that's a much more exciting part of you, a much more self aware part of you. And you haven't even tapped on the surface of that because you're looking back, because you're a little bit nervous, because you're like, this don't feel comfortable. It's not the white paper that I'm used to. Now I'm getting a little bit of tint to me. What's going on? You're transforming. You're transforming into who you are supposed to be for this particular season and how you're supposed to show up. So imagine a new normal. And that doesn't have to be scary, it can be exciting. So I tell people when they're like, but how? How do you make friends as a grown adult? How do you meet people? What do I say? How do I show up? Well, you start with what it is that you love, right? So if you are a person who is now, let's say, into reading, you got reconnected with reading, you like that, maybe where you meet your people is you join a book club. That's pretty simple. If you want to meet people that are in alignment with the person that you are becoming or that you changed into, go to where you want to go. And then you will meet those people because they like the same things. So that's the place that they're in. The third thing that I want you to do is work to build this new reality with baby steps. Babies don't come out the womb walking. They got to take some time and learn how to hold their head up, support their neck. They got to learn how to eat. They got to learn how to chew solids. They got to learn how to crawl. They got to learn how to sit up first before they even get to walk. There's a new environment that they've just come into. It is unfamiliar and it's okay. You don't see us rushing babies. We don't expect a 1-month-old baby to be walking. We don't expect a 2-month-old baby to be potty trained. Why? Because there are phases that they have to go through and they gain understanding that builds on the next phase, right? So every phase that we go through, we build our level of understanding. So you're in a new season, you're in a new level, a new era. So as you are imagining your new normal, imagining your new reality, take it easy. I think right now, if you've just finished this reset, what you probably need most is to chill. If you don't have any motivation, relax, 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 relax. And I mean, relax hard, okay? Do the bare minimum. And I know you probably like, but Dr. Hood, that don't sound right. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, if your body is lacking in motivation, if you have no motivation or inspiration to get up and do the things that you might have done before, let me tell you something. You're not going to lose the vision. You will be as successful, if not more successful than you were before. Because once you allow yourself to sit down and rest, you can be replenished. Fresh ideas can flow to you, but you can't get there if you're bogged down by stuff. So when we sit down and we take a creative reset and we take our time and we just kind of allow life to happen, we open up, we create space for God to impart new ideas. But if we're trying to hold on to all the rest of the stuff, all the old stuff that I'm comfortable and cozy with, who can put new ideas where? We can't. We can't have new ideas. We can't have new things deposited into us and new strategies, new beliefs about ourselves, new narratives. We can't get to that point because you're still hanging on to the old stuff. So I promise you, if you sit down, if you rest, if you do the bare minimum, if you fall back, if you just allow your body to reset exactly as you need to. Now, it sounds like you've broken off all the relationships and ties and things like that. But if you allow your body to physically reset, that will give you a boost of motivation when you are ready. And I say when you're ready because you can have a time stamp in your mind for when you think you're ready, but in reality you actually need longer than that. So I don't want you to rush this. I want you to take your time and give into how you're feeling, because when the inspiration hits you, it's going to hit you, and then you're going to be buzzing with creativity and ideas that it feels like you can't even stop. So you're going to need your rest, because when it comes back, oh, it's coming back with a vengeance. Okay. Just trust and believe that. Rest increases productivity. Wellness is a lifestyle. So if you need to rest right now, that is part of the physical domain. So I don't know if you all remember, or if you are a new listener to the show, we're always doing work in the 4 domains: mental, spiritual, physical, financial. So if your body is lacking in motivation, if mentally you can't convince yourself to get up and do it, then mentally and physically, sit your butt down. Okay. The final thing, commit not to quit. Commit not to quit. Sitting down and taking a break is not quitting. It's resting. It's giving your body what it needs. It's doing what is required so that you can be replenished for the rest of the journey. And I just recorded an episode on saying yes to your future, but also living abundantly. So if you have not heard those episodes, those are really good episodes to listen to so that you can get the motivation not to quit. Now, when I say commit not to quit, again, that means that you get to rest, but you don't get to stop. So I hope this was helpful for you. And I want to encourage you watching and listening to this. If you have a question, go ahead and submit it and I will answer it. I will do my best to answer it here on the podcast. Girl, what you been listening to? What you been watching? What you been reading? Media Queens, what's up? Welcome back for another Media Queens. I know it's been quite some time since I've done Media Queens, but that's because it's been quite some time since I've been watching TV, truthfully. And I think I told you guys about the book that I was reading. Yeah, last time I was reading a book, I did tell you guys about the book that I was reading. I was reading Permission to Offend by Rachel Luna. I actually do not have it next to me. But this week's Media Queens is All Rise. And why? Number one, because we got a black judge on there, and not just a black judge, a black female judge. Go off then, sis. Yes, I am here for it, and I'm rooting for everybody black. Okay. No, that the show All Rise is on Hulu. And I love it because she has all these people in her ear telling her how to be a judge, what she should care about, how she should run her courtroom, etc. And she's like, but I took an oath and I became a judge because I wanted to make a difference. So I'm not just going to sit in this courtroom and do what people want me to do. I'm going to do what I believe is right to do. And I am all for people who stand in their authority, people who walk with confidence, and people who have the audacity to follow through with their beliefs. I mean, come on, that's the visionary blueprint, guys. But seriously, she did that. And there are moments on the show where she feels a little bit insecure about her position, and she knows that she's not really well liked amongst the other judges. And ultimately, she decides that she's still okay with being who she is. And so I'm all for All Rise. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. That is all I have for you this week. If you enjoyed today's episode, share the love. Share with your mama, share with your auntie, share with your best friend, and then head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. Reviews help the podcast to grow. Well, that is all I have for you this week. I'll see you out in these social media streets. Bye.